friends. I am reporting to you live from a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot somewhere in the middle of Jersey. Right out of the gate, I just have to let you know, my camera is set up in an interesting way right now. So it's on its little suction cup mount on and that is suction to the windshield. But I don't know if it's just because the mount that I have is old and I've used it a lot, or if I've just set it up at kind of an angle you're not supposed to. The thing just wanted to keep sinking and sinking slowly, I'd have to get at it with my hand and raise it back up. It wanted to just slowly fall. So I was like, I wonder if there's something I could wedge under it to prevent that from happening. And I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, I bet my water bottle will work. My water bottle happens to work perfectly. But the view that I have, I'm going to put a picture here because it looks stupid. But you know what? Creative solutions. Also, because it is 7:11 in the morning, my watch only now thinks that I'm waking up. Anyway, hi, good morning. Today is the start of a 3-day road trip out to Brainerd, Minnesota. I'm going out there because I'm going to be a resident artist at the Lakes Area Music Festival for a month, and I'm super, super excited. I had such a good time doing the road trip out to Iowa 2 years ago that when I booked this, I was like, oh yeah, road trip, we're doing that again. And coincidentally, most of the route from New York to Minnesota is going to be the same as the route from New York to Iowa, mostly because it's all on the same interstate. They will diverge at Chicago. But anyway, today we are driving from New York to Akron, Ohio. I believe I'm driving something like 500 miles today. I checked my phone. It says I have 412 miles left to go. I don't know off the top of my head how many miles I've already driven, but also because I am a lifelong New York City resident, my concept, gauge, whatever of miles to time in the car is just permanently skewed, because where I come from, 7 miles could very well take 7 hours to drive. I mean, in reality, from Queens to Manhattan, I think it is something like 7 miles. It's not very far at all. But depending on the time of day, that really could be an hour and a half drive. But either way, we're driving pretty far today. It just started drizzling, and I hope that is not gonna get in my way for the rest of the day. Today we're going through 4 states, so I've already gone through New York. That wasn't very long because I was just driving out of the city. I'm in New Jersey right now, and then I'm probably gonna be in Pennsylvania for 5 or 6 hours because Pennsylvania is a ridiculously wide state. And then after that, obviously, we'll get to Ohio and stay the night in Akron. Tomorrow we're gonna go from Akron to Chicago, and then the day after that, we're gonna go from Chicago to Brainerd. Again, I had a really good time doing this 2 years ago, and so I was I was excited to book the festival, and then I was like, oh wait, I get to do another road trip. I was excited for that too. I was also, I think I mentioned this in another vlog recently when I was my last contract where I was doing a show in the city. Spending 2 months in Iowa at Des Moines Metro Opera gave me a little bit of a Casey's habit. Did I, within minutes of accepting the contract offer, did I go in Google Maps and see if and where there were Casey's in Brainerd, Minnesota? Yes, I did. Listen, New York City is my home. I love the Northeast, but Midwest gas stations, we cannot compete with that. Anyway, I probably have somewhere in the realm of 6 hours left in the car for the day. And in that time, I am honestly just gonna chill and vibe, obviously drive, but just listen to music, catch up on podcasts. There is something about a solo road trip that is just so restful. So yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna have my breakfast. I'll check in with you later, probably in Pennsylvania. So I just checked my location on my phone, and I am in basically the exact middle of Pennsylvania. It's 10:38 right now, so I have another half of Pennsylvania to get through and then some of Ohio. Things have been pretty smooth sailing thus far. We had a brief bout of pretty intense rain, but that was really about it. Well, okay, we also had mostly in New Jersey, they took I-80 down to 1 lane for really a while, to the point where it just kept being 1 lane. And I started to think is this surely the entire interstate is not gonna be this. But after it's been 1 lane for that long, you start to worry. So I was like, if it doesn't clear up, I'm gonna have to see what the next exit is and possibly just look at another route, because what? But then it opened up and it was fine. Apparently they're repairing sinkholes or something in Jersey. I don't know. hi. This is actually take 2 of this clip. I got like 10 or 15 seconds into filming the last one and my camera crapped out. Like there was an error message. Obviously like the lens is facing me, but the viewfinder on the back is in the mirror, so I could like see myself a tiny little bit. So hopefully like everything's good, nothing's wrong with the memory card, and that will be fine for trying it this time. Anyway, we have made it to my hotel in Akron. We've made it to stop number 1. So all in all, as I probably said earlier, it was a pretty smooth day. Like we had a bout of rain, we had a bout of I-80 being taken down to 1 lane. But aside from that, it was just smooth. There's not really much craziness to report. I'm sure my Easy Pass is like a little stressed out. I feel like I paid less tolls or went through fewer toll plazas than last time. Like obviously I think I paid 3 tolls to get, no, 2 to get out of New York City. Quick geography lesson. I live in Queens, so I live on an island that is bordered by another island. So I have to go across 2 rivers in order to get to the United States mainland. Another fun fact for you, there is only 1 borough of New York City that is on like the mainland, that is not on an island, and it's the Bronx. Manhattan has its own island. Queens and Brooklyn are geographically on Long Island. They are the western edge of Long Island. But if you told somebody from Queens or Brooklyn that they are from Long Island, we might have words for you. And obviously Staten Island is its own island, and you cannot get to Staten Island unless you get on a boat or pay like a $50,000 toll over the Verrazano. Am I going to leave in this entire weirdly long description of New York City transit? I don't know. Forgive me, I am a bit delirious after being in the car for 8-ish hours. Even though it was a smooth day of driving without really much fanfare, that is still kind of tiring, not gonna lie. So it is 3:35 right now. Not like 1,000% sure of what I'm gonna do for the rest of the day. I was thinking that maybe I would like look up somewhere to go and take a walk just to like, you know, stretch my legs after sitting in the car for so long. I'm probably not gonna wind up doing that because it is still pretty hot outside. I am really not a fan of hot weather. It's thankfully not as humid as it was at home because New York humidity is diabolical doesn't even begin to cover it. Like you will just step out the house and it feels like you're walking in chowder. But anyway, it's not that humid, but it is still like in the 90s, which I know. So maybe I'll wait until the sun goes down and like it's a little cooler, but also like the sun's not going to go down until 8 or 9. And I do need to go to bed early so I can get up early, so I can get on the road early. So this is all to say, walk probably not going to happen. Definitely going to order food. Not sure from where. There is a restaurant in the hotel. I don't know if I want to go there and sit there. Either that or I'll DoorDash, Grubhub, whatever, something. But at least for now, I'm going to chill and just stop having thoughts because I think my brain's going to shut down pretty soon. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I shared my location with one of my group chats so they can follow me like a sim on the map all day. And me and my friends are the type to send entire podcasts of audio messages to each other. This isn't like podcast length. But anyway, my friend Sierra sent me a rather funny audio message in response to me sharing my location and her randomly seeing that I was like in the middle of Pennsylvania. I think that's when she saw it. So without further ado, here's that. For context, my contact photo in Sierra's phone is Benny from Benny Loves You holding a knife. So if you hear her refer to me as like a Benny stuffed toy, whatever, that is why.
We now follow, I can't even get the accent right. I don't even know where I want to be from. We now follow Benny Stuffy across the Nittany Mountain. We know nothing about this mountain region, but she's driving.
Good morning. It is 6:11 a.m. We're trying out a slightly new microphone placement today just because this jumpsuit is like gives me a perfect place to put it. Hopefully it doesn't like rustle up against my clothing and sound horrible, but I guess we will find out later, or I will find out later when I go to edit this. Anyway, that doesn't matter. So yeah, it's pretty early in the morning, but honestly, it's not too crazy. Like I left home at like 5:30, 5:45 yesterday morning, so not that much earlier than now. And I'm kind of an early riser as it is, but more than that, in the past year or so, I've become quite a gym rat, and I literally go to the gym at like 6 in the morning. So getting up and getting ready and going out at a really stupid hour of the morning is just kind of normal, which I guess is working to my advantage on this road trip. Today we are heading to Chicago, so it's a shorter leg than yesterday. Actually, it's the shortest leg of this whole trip. Akron and Chicago are, I believe, 5 hours apart, something like that. I will also be crossing into a new time zone. I am still on Eastern time here in Ohio. I will be on Central once I get to Chicago, which means that I will actually get an hour back. So like I'll be in the car for 5 hours or probably 6-ish with stops. I don't know. But whatever amount of time I'm in the car, like one will get shaved off in a sense because of the time zone difference. Also tonight, I'm gonna get to see my teacher in person. We're gonna meet up for dinner, which is, I'm excited. We do not live in the same state, so I do not get to see her in person very often. So yay. She also will inevitably see this video at some point, so hi Roz. But anyway, I'm about ready to go. I was gonna have a breakfast in the hotel, but I looked up when breakfast starts and it's not until 7. So I'll probably just stop for breakfast somewhere. Where? I don't know. I probably should look that up, but somewhere. I don't think I mentioned it yesterday, but my local bagel place that I love dearly does not open until 6:30 on the weekend. So honestly, I had this whole internal debate of when to leave that was like 90% centered on when the bagel place opens. I wound up just being like, you know what, like bagels will be there when you get home, like it's fine. You don't have to get like your one last bagel before you're not in bagel territory. But yes, I am such a New Yorker that I centered my departure time around a potential bagel. Yes, I know there are bagels in other parts of the country. I am a bagel elitist. I will freely admit it. Today's drive is going to go through 3 states. So I'm going to go through the rest of Ohio, through Indiana, and then into Illinois. But yeah, I'm going to put my camera away and investigate some coffee. We're in Chicago. It's like 1:15 right now. I checked into the hotel like a little over an hour ago. Today's drive was only 5 hours, so a lot shorter than yesterday. And it feels it's kind of weird to say only 5 hours because that's still kind of a long time. But honestly, 5 hours going highway speed continuously, well, except for like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes. I was actually in Chicago. But anyway, 5 hours of driving at highway speed, or just listening to music and listening to podcasts and chilling feels like nothing. Driving 30 minutes in bumper to bumper, wall to wall, are there really this many people that live here level traffic that I have at home? That feels like just an eternity. But anyway, as I'm sure I said earlier, today was the shortest leg of this entire road trip. It was like 3 full hours shorter than yesterday. And again, the only time I wasn't like going at highway speed was when I was actually in Chicago proper. And even then, traffic was moving so much better than it does at home. Though I will say, the last like 20 minutes of the drive stressed me out a bit. And it stressed me out in the same way that driving in Manhattan or driving on any of the, I guess we have to call them highways that run through Manhattan does, in that it's like, I'm on a highway, but there's a lot of highway and a lot of things looping and a lot of, oh God, I'm about to like blink and make a horrible mistake. Also, riddle me this, Chicago, why are there so many letters on your exits? At home, like sometimes you'll see like an A if it's like, I don't know why we even have that, but like you'll see like N and S if there's like a north and a south and it's the same exit, just one goes north and one goes south. Why is there an A, B, C, D, elemental P? I was stressed out. But anyway, I've taken some time to kind of chill, relax. I'm still going to take a little more time to refuel, and then I'm going to go out and do some kind of wandering, exploring. I'm not sure where I'm going to walk around yet, but I might just go out aimlessly and just kind of, I don't know. Okay, hold up. I just looked at that clip that I just took. Why is one side of my face so red? Like, what? My face is just hot, but it's only hot on one side. Whatever. Talk to you later. Hello friends, it is I reporting to you at 6:32 in the morning with the recap that I did not do last night. So as you probably saw from clips I put in, I went down and walked, did like the river walk, which was really nice, kind of wandered from there, wound up wandering all the way to Navy Pier, saw that. Obviously the purpose of this whole road trip is to get me to Minnesota for Lakes Area Music Festival, but I tried to have a little bit of a vacation along the way, and yesterday definitely felt like that, just getting to be like a tourist for a few hours. Then after that, I met up with Roz for dinner, which was really fun. We don't get to see each other in person really ever because we do not live in the same state anymore. Fun fact, Roz has been my teacher since I was 18, so literally for the past 11 years. It is so cool that I am able to say that, and that is something that I'm endlessly grateful for. I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but just like to have had, somebody who's been there through literally all of this, like through undergrad, grad school, my first YAP, like all of that. Anyway, today's drive will end in our final destination of, well, not final destination like the movie, I'm going to Brainerd today. And tomorrow we'll start up in rehearsals and coachings and all of that. And I'm so excited. I'm excited to be singing all of this stuff, to be singing it with other people, to meet my castmates. This contract at LAMF that I'm about to be on for the next month will be the end of what has been really a roller coaster of a season this year. I made a couple of vlogs during the fall during audition season when I was traveling, so I'll link those down below if you want to watch that. But last audition season was insane, and was like insane from start to finish. Like every unexpected thing happened. There were a billion firsts, and it was just going and going and going. Like I was getting auditions at companies where I had never made it past the pre-screen. Some of them like multiple times. Like I got an audition for Glimmerglass, and I think I've been rejected by them like 3 or 4 times. So we had that, and what came with that was having to start traveling. Like when I got the Indianapolis audition, I was like, okay, time to book a flight. Another company that previously I had never made it past the pre-screen. And then after that, I start making it farther in competitions. I go to Pittsburgh finals, which I did not expect. With Pittsburgh finals, I wound up having to cancel one audition in the wake of it because it was on the same weekend, and then they actually offered me to audition in a separate location in upstate New York, but then I was in competition finals for another competition that weekend, and that company was another company where I had never made it past the pre-screen. It really just felt like a switch flipped, and everything was different. I so don't mean this in a tooting my own horn way. I am a soprano, but not that much of one. But like, also, I worked damn hard to get those auditions, so I'm gonna feel proud of that. But anyway, I do all of these auditions. I travel for the things I have to travel for. I go do all of these competitions. And at the end of the audition season, I actually initially walked away with no contract offers. Quick bit of context for those of you who don't know, the opera audition season runs roughly September to December. There's a few outliers in August and in January, but the main season is during that kind of 4-month block in the fall. But anyway, I did all of that, had this insane season, and then started 2025, and I did not have a contract in hand. I did have a few maybes. I was on the wait list for another summer festival. I was in the semifinals for another competition. If I made finals, I would have to fly out there and do that. And then of course, I was also in the finals for LAMF. This career is such an emotional roller coaster that like you assume that you're not getting anything until you quite literally have the offer sitting in front of you. And then obviously I eventually got a contract offer, so thank you so much to Lakes Area Music Festival for believing in me. But up until that point, you have this crazy audition season where everybody wants to hear you and you're making it farther and everything is different. You feel like, so if I have the best audition season of my career thus far and I still get nothing, or well, at that time hadn't gotten anything yet, but if I am having this incredible season and I still get nothing, then like, what am I doing? Yes, obviously, patience, like the signs were there, but it's still, again, this career is an emotional roller coaster. And like, I think it's important to be transparent about these things because we all go through it. Honestly, now that I think of it, every single contract I've ever got in my life was preceded by a moment of, am I gonna get anything ever? Like when I got my, I'm even wearing the shirt, when I got my Des Moines contract, that audition, okay, I was so tired. I had done the Met competition the day before. It was just a big audition week anyway. I was so tired, and that morning I rented a warm-up room, and I'm still, let's be real. I was so tired that morning that my mantra for that entire morning was, the quicker I sing, the quicker I go home. Like admittedly was just like not jazzed with having an audition that morning. Go in, sing the best audition of my life because I just did not care in the moment. And by don't care, I specifically mean that I was just too tired to be self-conscious. Actually, my first YAP contract back in 2017 when I was 22, there's a million stories surrounding that one. The main one being that I simply did not know that the program that I got into was kind of a big deal, or that it was kind of a big deal to get into a YAP at all until I got in and my teacher lost her shit. When I got the offer, when I got the acceptance email, I forwarded it to Roz and she responded. It was literally in like 5 different colors with like 50 emojis. But even that, I was just like, this is typical. Like, Roz is very enthusiastic. So I was just like, this is just like typical Roz enthusiasm. And then I go into my lesson that week and she's like about to explode. But anyway, I was so scared for that audition because, yeah, I did not fully understand the gravity of what I'd gotten into until I got into it. But what I did know was that I was doing an opera audition and at that time I had not done that many at that point. I was auditioning for something outside of school. I was auditioning for strangers, and I was auditioning for a summer program, and I had never done a summer program because a lot of these are incredibly expensive. So frankly, I auditioned for that because it was a summer program I wouldn't have to pay for. Go into the audition, sing my first piece, and then I will never forget this. They asked me if I was in high school. That audition was in February, so it was actually later than the normal audition season, as if I knew when audition season was and how it worked back then. But that's an important point of clarification because it's February, and February in New York is incredibly cold. So I'm standing here in heels and a dress, and it's like negative a billion outside. And what's running through my head is like, I did my makeup, I put on the dress, I got in the whole regalia, and I still look like a child. Anyway, I wound up having a great audition with them. They were very nice in the audition, and then later found out that, you know, they're just incredible people. My first YAP was Martina Arroyo's Prelude to Performance, and I cannot say enough good things about how amazing that experience was and how grateful I am that that was my first YAP and that was my first, you know, professional opera experience. And it absolutely like set me on the path of doing this now. But yeah, that's enough nostalgia. I also do not think that in this entire vlog I have told you what I am actually doing at Lakes Area Music Festival, so let me tell you that. So while I am there, my first 2 performances are 2 cabarets of kind of musical theater reps, so that'll be fun. After that, in August, the resident artists have a like aria night, I think it's actually called a Night at the Opera concert with the orchestra, where we're both singing arias, some scenes, some duets, some ensembles. And then after that, we are doing Hansel and Gretel. In Hansel and Gretel, I am playing the mother. I'm also covering the witch. I have actually done the witch 2 times before. I did it as a scene when I was in school. So, I mean, just because of the way Hansel and Gretel is structured, when I did that scene, I did about 90% of the role. I also did the witch professionally with the Martina Arroyo Foundation as a part of their outreach program in New York City schools. So I did it there. I was going to do the witch again with the same outreach program in 2020, and then COVID hit. But every time I have done a Hansel and Gretel, it has been in English. This is the first time I'm doing it in German. It's a really beautiful score. It's really hard. There are a lot of key changes, a lot of meter changes. It will make your head spin while you're learning it, but it's a really beautiful score. I'll put a link in the description to the Lakes Area website so you can, you know, see other stuff that's going on, because there are many more performances than what I'm involved in. But yeah, so today's drive will go through 3 states. We're gonna go through the rest of Illinois into Wisconsin and then into Minnesota. I have never been to Wisconsin or Minnesota, so I can add those onto the list of states I've been in. Today's drive will actually be broken up a little bit in a sense. Brainerd is about 2 hours north of Minneapolis, so I'm actually stopping in Minneapolis to pick up Maggie, who's one of the pianists for the festival. So I'm gonna pick her up and then we're carpooling up to Brainerd. And yeah, it's just like, it's finally sinking in that this is actually happening and it's about to start and I'm about to experience all of this. Which sounds kind of silly because it's like, obviously I knew this was happening. Like, I got the offer in, what, February? Like, I've spent all this time learning and memorizing and working and studying on everything. Like, obviously I knew it was happening, but you know, there's always like, when you have, you know, big stuff like this or just exciting stuff like this, there's a moment of like, oh, we're actually here. I don't know how much I'm gonna check in for the rest of the day, if at all, because it's gonna be a long driving day. I have to stop in Minneapolis, and then tonight I have to, you know, move into my host housing. Perhaps I will check in tomorrow with a recap, or not at all. I don't know. We'll both find out. Hey Siri, what state am I in?
You're at US 10 West, St. Paul, Minnesota,